I'm very sorry for the issues what we had. Amit, can you hear me properly? Good morning. I'm very sorry for the issues what we had. Hi, Chirag. So, Amit, can you hear me properly? Great. Good morning. So we'll just wait for 30 seconds for people to join. We had. Hi, Chirag. So, Amit, can you hear me properly? Great. Good morning. So meanwhile, before others join, probably you can start posting your questions for people to join. We had. Hi, Chirag. Yeah, keep posting your queries
Amit, can
in
you
the
hear me
comments.
properly?
Audio is still repeating. So meanwhile, before others join, probably you can start posting your questions for people to join. We had. Hi, Chirag. Yeah, keep posting your showing total 16 purchases. Okay, are you hearing me multiple times now? Okay. Are you hearing me multiple times now? Great, great. So we will take the queries. The first query what I've got was regarding retargeting ads. You know how to do retargeting ads. Uh, yes, it's fine. It's better. It's fine now. Great, great. I'm really sorry for the trouble. So let's go with the first query regarding retargeting ads. So as per the standard. Okay, as per the standard, e-commerce model, when someone looks at the product, it is not necessary that he has the whole intention to purchase the product at that particular moment. So probably, if the product is good, but at that point of time, he might not be in a state to make a purchase. So there's a standard thing like before you purchase something, you have to go through the ad at least 5 to 6 times. So that is what we have been observing. That is the reason why we do a lot of retargeting ads. And what we have observed is whenever you're doing a retargeting ad, whenever we are doing a retargeting ad, it gets around cost per conversion comes somewhere around 30. It ranges anywhere between 30 rupees to 100 rupees kind of thing, right? So that is the reason why we primarily do retargeting ads. And in retargeting, you can do multiple ways. One is you can do 1200 cross 1200, I mean page post retargeting, just by mentioning some text like hi, did you forget to purchase? And you can do just a page post thing rather than doing a banner. So recently we are getting good conversions when we are doing page post retargeting, when we are doing conversions ad for page post, because when you're doing page post ad, you'll have a lot of space. I mean, the banner size is 1200, so you'll be able to show more in that particular area. And most of the times buyers also, I mean, prospective buyers look at the social proof, like how many likes are there on that particular page post, or how many comments are there on that particular page post, and they get excited and they start looking at let us also get into it, let us also try seeing what product they are trying to sell, and they start selling that product. So they start interacting with that ad, and they start buying that particular product. So that is the primary reason why we do retargeting. And yeah, just give me a minute. Sorry. So that is the primary reason why we do retargeting. Okay, so I'm just taking one question by one question based on. So the first question was Dilli Wale asked, how to do retargeting ads based on link clicks, add to cart purchase. So there are two kinds of retargeting ads. What we do, one is the basic retargeting. The people who visited the link but didn't end up purchasing, right? So we create a separate audience for that, and we do retargeting for that. And there is one more segment of people in the retargeting, that is people who have added to cart but didn't purchase. So people who have added to cart will have more, are more likely to purchase a product, but due to some reason or the other, they didn't purchase the product. So we do two different ads. One, we do retargeting ads. The other, we do add to cart retargeting ads. So when we do add to cart retargeting ads, we get purchase conversion cost at around 30 rupees, 20 to anywhere between 20 to 70 rupees is what we get when we do add to cart ads. And so primarily we do initially we start with 1200 cost 1200 page post ad for doing retargeting, and the similar thing we do add to cart retargeting. The ad text we try to keep it as, did you forget to buy? Here is your last chance, grab it here. So that is something what we start with. And general budget what we keep is around 40 rupees, 100 rupees. So we always try to keep less budget when we try doing retargeting ads. And the moment this stops producing good results, so what we do is we switch to either carousel ad, showing the same campaign with different color options, so that people will get an idea that the same product is also available in different colors. So that is something what we try to do. So there are certain keywords what we use to capture this audience, retargeting audience. So you have to go to custom audience segment in your Facebook, and you have to click on people who have visited one specific link but not others. So in people who have visited specific link, you keep your campaign link, and not others you keep there are certain keywords. After this session I'll provide you the keywords what we use for retargeting, what we use for add to cart retargeting. So we start retargeting once we have audience size of around minimum 100. When Facebook recognizes minimum 100 audience, that's when we do retargeting with a minimal budget. We do with a budget of around 40 rupees, right? Before launching the original campaign, we start capturing the audience before launching the original campaign. I mean, the moment the campaign My Dream Store campaign is live, we start creating audience. We start creating audience, and we start capturing the audience. But we'll only start doing retargeting. We will only start doing retargeting ads the moment we are able to capture 100 minimum 100 audience in it. Yeah, 40 rupees per day is what we keep as daily budget. So we don't do manual bidding for retargeting ads. For retargeting ads, we do automatic bidding basically. While retargeting custom audiences, the number is very less. Does it affect the reach before? Because it seems to be very low. See, Amit, if you look at how the retargeting audience are captured, it'll be always in very less numbers until unless you go with pretty broad niches where you keep having a lot of people visiting your campaigns daily. Apart from that, most of the campaigns have audience size around 50 to 80 people visiting the site. So obviously, you'll be while doing retargeting, your frequency goes as high as 4. And good marketeers suggest when you're doing retargeting not to go beyond frequency of 5, because there'll be a certain ad fatigue. There'll be certain ad fatigue where when people looks at your ad again and again and again, and they don't have any intention to purchase a product, so they will start hating that thing. So that is about retargeting. So post this session, I'll provide you the keywords, what we do for retargeting and add to cart retargeting. So the funda is very clear. When you do retargeting, first we start with retargeting with 40 rupees budget. On ideally we start it on day 3 or day 4. Once retargeting is live, the next day we start add to cart retargeting again with the smaller budgets. In case if the audience is more, we keep around 100 rupees as retargeting budget and 40 rupees as add to cart retargeting budget. Right. So I'll go to the second question. Chirag asked, my FB data is showing around 16 purchases, but my MDS is showing 13, 11 purchase and 2 returns. I can't find data of 3 purchase FB is showing. So Chirag, the data what Facebook Pixel provides onto the platform might not be accurate, right? So this is something what we have been seeing, and this is something what most of the marketeers also find it on Facebook. So it only represents accurate, approximate data. I think the accuracy lies anywhere around 85 to 95%. So that is one reason why you might find certain differences in the data that is being reported on Facebook, and the conversions that happened on My Dream Store. And certain times what happens is when people do the transaction, and when people visit the thank you page, that means the final end page, that checkout successful page, in case if they refresh the page, Facebook again starts counting that as one more transaction. So that is one reason why certain times what happens is you'll have a little more data on Facebook when compared to what you see on My Dream Store. So what the data what we provide on My Dream Store is completely real time, right? So whatever the data, whatever be the number of purchases that happen, and you'll be able to see that in the Excel sheet that, which is there in your campaigner dashboard, right? So that is one thing. Did that answer your question, Chirag? I think there is a lot of lag in the call. Yeah, so we'll move to the second. I think we'll move to the third question. Karthik Krishnaswamy asked, "My question: are the campaigns manually reviewed? My new campaign is in review state." So we have a standard protocol on reviewing the campaigns. So most of the recently we have been receiving complaints from certain organizations that without permissions people started utilizing their brand name and started selling. So primarily with corporate organizations or certain celebrity related niches. So what we do is we figure out what is we have built a kind of a internal mechanism to find out campaigns like that, so that if there is any campaign, related to the niche, for example, Shah Rukh Khan or Mahendra Singh Dhoni, or specific companies like Oracle or Amazon. So what we do is we directly take down the campaign and we communicate. I mean, we don't get the campaign into active state. We keep it on a review state. And as this mechanism is not foolproof, what we also see is certain campaigns which might not be in review state, go into review stage. So at that point of time, you can just write to our seller support at mydreamstore.in. seller support at mydreamstore.in, you will be able to get your campaign reviewed. So our team can help you out in making you understand why it went to review state, and in case if it should not be in review state, they'll make it active, right? So we'll move to the next question. How to do targeting by narrowing it down with online shopping, men's clothing, women's clothing, or just interest? See, this is a slightly tricky question. So uh, when you start new campaigns, right? Like say when you are a new campaigner, right? So your pixel data is not optimized. So your pixel data will be your pixel data will be empty. So somewhere you have to start. So your Facebook algorithm entirely works on how well your pixel is optimized, right? So that is one thing. So what happens is, initially when you start campaigning, is you always have intersection with high prospective buyers. Like online shopping is a very prospective buyers. I mean, people who expressed interest in purchasing products. That is one thing. And that is one way of doing an ad. For example, if you are targeting, let's say if you are targeting people from mechanical engineering background. So what you do is, you keep field of study as mechanical engineering. You will get almost around 7-8 lakh audience in it. Initially, when you start, you'll not have a huge budget to scale. So you'll always start with a smaller budget of around 150 to 250 rupee ad sets. So at that point of time, you'll always try optimizing to reach high prospective audience. So at that point of time, what you do is you intersect field of study, that is mechanical engineering field of study, with online shopping. So when you intersect that with online shopping, almost around 20 to 25% audience will get wiped out, right? And when you intersect that with men's clothing, or when you intersect that with t-shirt, again you'll be able to reach out to only the people who have who had fields of study as mechanical engineering, and also in the past some interest in online shopping, sorry, and t-shirt. So in that way, you'll be your chances of reaching to right audience might be high. So this is something what you do initially. But over a period of time, when your Facebook pixel starts getting optimized, I mean, so we see now, most of the top campaigners, they don't use online shopping or men's clothing as intersection, because by that time, they almost have roughly around 3,000 to 5,000 pixel fires. So pixel is already optimized in such a way that it identifies what kind of audience try purchasing the products what you launch, right? So initially I would suggest to always go with intersection with online shopping, if the audience is pretty huge. And you can also go with men's clothing. Women's clothing is something which I would not suggest, because most of the products what we try doing are in t-shirt thing, apparel, primarily, not into fashion apparel at this point of time. So when you are targeting women, probably you can target interest intersection with probably online shopping intersection with t-shirt. So t-shirt is a keyword what you can try keeping, and that is something that is working for us, right? And so we'll move to the next question. Amit asked, while retargeting custom audiences, the number is very less. Does it affect the reach because it seems to be very slow? So I think I have answered this query. The audience number will be very less. So obviously, you have to pay more to reach to that audience. So obviously, your reach will be less for the amount that you're spending, right? So the next question was by Apeksha. Also, after decision is made, should we stop PPE ad or continue both? Okay, I think this is regarding the retargeting. Initially, we start with so we don't start retargeting with PPE ad. So what we do is we start retargeting with conversion ad, but instead of a banner conversion, what we do is we do a page post conversion, right? And the moment this page post conversion the moment the page post conversion stops performing, so we go to carousel and we turn off this particular ad, right? And you have asked after how many days do we start? We decide that it is successful and we should go with the. Oh, okay, okay. I got a little confused. So, Apeksha, your question is initially to start with PPE ad, the broad campaign, and after that, how many days we decide we should go with website conversion. So, most of the campaigners, they start with the PPE ad to figure out how the audience are responding to that particular campaign. So, a PPE ad will give a social proof, like how many people are interested in the product, whether the design is good. Depending upon the number of shares, the number of likes, you'll be able to understand, how people are interacting with the ad, whether people are interested in purchasing the product or not. So we start with a PPE ad. About how many days we decide, uh, it all depends upon the numbers. For example, you are getting a PP ad, you are doing a PP ad and you are getting a conversion at around 50, 60 rupees. There is no harm in continuing PP ad. So you can keep continuing the PP ad till the time your ROI positive. Most of the times we turn off the PP ads when when we reach to 120, 130 rupees. I mean, considering the ROI of the campaign. And we generally start website conversion ad after. I mean, this is one technique. Some campaigners follow this way, that they start with PPE ads, and after 2 days they start with website conversion ad, right? And they keep continuing the PP ad till the time till the time it gives results. The moment it stops giving results, they'll turn off PP ads and they'll switch to website conversion ad. I mean, they'll continue website conversion ad. There are other set of people, other set of campaigners who don't do PP ads, who straight away get into website conversion ad and start scaling website conversion ads. So we are doing mix of things. We have been doing PP ads and then following up with website conversion ad. The other way, what we are doing is we do website conversion ad, and we also do PP ad on a later stage just to build the audience. Right? I think did that answer the question? You have any queries related to that particular question, right? And Chirag asked, launched a retargeting ad with the audience size of 600, but no sales, around 34 add to cart, but no purchase. So Chirag, I mean, this is something what we have been saying. So there might be multiple reasons why there are add to carts but no purchases. Uh, you know, uh, so I think it might also depend on the campaign. What is the niche that you are trying to target? What is the price that you are offering it for? And whether your campaign have prepaid and COD, prepaid, or is it just a prepaid campaign, or it includes COD? Because we see almost around 65 to 70% purchases happening via COD. So COD is a big motivator for people to transact, right? And we're also coming up with a discount module, especially to address this issue, Chirag. There are like a lot of people in retargeting. There are like a lot of people who are adding to cart but not having any purchase. So we are coming up with a discount module wherein a campaigner can decide to give a discount of around anywhere around 30, 50 or 100 rupees without affecting your ROI. You can give that particular discount, and you can attract audience to complete the transaction. So this is something what we are coming up with, and especially to this campaign, probably we can take it offline. You can directly reach to me with your campaign. I will look into the campaign and come back to you on why there are like a lot of add to carts but no purchases, right? And the next question, Dilli Wale asked, did you try manual bidding? How it works? So, honestly speaking, we haven't experimented much on manual bidding. We have just started, working on manual bidding. In the past, we didn't have any great success on manual bidding. So, probably over the next webinar, I will be able to provide you some details or some experiences what we had in terms of manual bidding, right? So, manual bidding, how it works is, the logic works in this way. You're going to tell Facebook that for getting this purchase, I'll be only able to pay let's say 100 rupees for having this for getting a purchase on this particular campaign. So Facebook will start figuring out to reach to people in such a way that I should get a conversion at a price lesser than or equal to 100 rupees. So that's how Facebook will start finding out audience who are prospective buyers for that particular campaign. So that is the whole logic how it works. So I'll share some of our experiences about manual bidding in the next webinar. We have just started. We have just started with manual bidding. I think last week, but the results are not so exciting. But still, we'll keep trying that, and we'll keep you updated in the next session. Bhumit asked, Karthik, the payout system is quite slow, and we are having to wait along. Most of us have a strict budget and need to pay out to multiply the investment. Bhumit, trust me, this is one major concern for us also. In fact, before switching to this system, we were doing payouts around 21 to 30 days, and we understand, keeping you waiting for 21 to 30 days is not a ideal situation. That is the reason why we started doing we started doing order-wise settlements and came up with a new payout system. We are promising 7-day payouts, to most of the campaigners. 65 to 75% of the times we are sticking to that, but there's like 35 to 40% times where we are not meeting that timeline. I'll tell you the reason behind it. So we are promising 7 days post delivery, whereas currently they are experiencing as high as 80% COD orders, and only 20% prepaid orders. So for COD orders, what happens is once the products get dispatched from our warehouse, once the product gets delivered to the buyer, so these logistic carriers like Delivery, Ecom Express, they are transferring the money to us anywhere between 7 to 21 days, depending upon the locations where they are operating. So that is the reason why currently we are unable to stick to that timeline. We are fighting with the carriers to do the transactions. I mean, to give the COD remittances quickly. So, but however, I see, it might take around a month time to, fix the complete system. But you can expect payouts to go slightly faster from next week. I mean, the last 2 weeks payouts have been, definitely slow. But over the coming weeks, you can expect the pace at which it improves. And we will be constantly working on improving this payout system, because this is one major thing what we have in our product roadmap. And Apeksha have asked, let me go with the question asked by Aniruddha Basu. So when I start a website conversion ad, I start as view content. After getting decent A to C, when it's time to switch to ATC, should I just change the optimization settings or create a new ad? One thing is you should never disturb the ad which is working good, right? So in case if you started ad with view content, let it run the way it is. You just duplicate the ad and change the optimization to ATC, add to cart conversion. So that way you will not disturb your best selling ad or the best performing ad. So that is one way. So always remember, never disturb your ad which is doing good. Always duplicate the ad and play with it. Whatever the games that you want to play with the ad, whatever the experiments that you want to do with the ad, just duplicate the ad and play with the ad. So you have to let that parent ad, I mean, the first ad, what you do, we call it as parent ad. You have to let that die, the way it wants to. You should not, it is always good not to edit the ad which you have launched, which is doing pretty good, right? And normally these are the metrics what we take into consideration. Either the campaign have around 50 purchases, that's when we decide that it's a winner, we can scale the campaign. Or if it is having around 100 to 200 add to carts, that's when we see a lot of people are interested in purchasing the product, and that's when we try scaling. So these are the metrics. 100 add to carts means a good metric, or 25 purchases to 50 purchases is a good metric. That's when you decide you can go ahead and try scale. See, it's again a tricky question. What we have observed is, people who have access to Instagram or people who use Instagram, they are slightly more fashionable, or they are more adaptable to the new things or the new trends. So that is something what we have observed. There are certain niches where we are getting good cost per conversion with the Instagram ad. So most of the times what we do is we do automatic placement. When we see, after a few days, we start looking at the results. Like, let's say if there are 50 purchases, how many purchases came from different module, like how many purchases came from desktop ad, how many purchases came from mobile ad, how many purchases came from Instagram ad. Looking at the data, let's say if Instagram ad is giving 10 purchases and its cost per conversion is way less, so what we do is we just duplicate ad and we just only keep Instagram as a placement. We let the ad run. So we don't start any ad with Instagram ad exclusively, but depending upon the data, what we do is we create Instagram ad if the data looks very positive. I mean, if the Instagram converts at a very good price. There are certain niches where Instagram ad work really well for us. I mean, for women gifting niche. I mean, for example, you created a campaign for husbands, like I'm a proud husband of a freaking awesome wife. So that is a campaign. So what we started doing was we started showing it to women who are married, age group between 21 to 35, and automatic placements. When we did, we started giving good. It started getting good results, and when we dissected the data,